Have you heard of the Gospel of Judas, a text claiming that Judas was not a traitor but a hero fulfilling Jesus' secret plan? This ancient writing challenges everything we know from the Bible about betrayal and sacrifice. After being lost for centuries, its resurfacing sparked intense curiosity about its controversial claims. Judas Iscariot was one of the 12 apostles, chosen by Jesus to be part of his inner circle. However, the canonical Gospels Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John unanimously record that Judas betrayed Jesus to the chief priests for 30 pieces of silver. This act of treachery led to Christ's arrest and crucifixion, fulfilling ancient prophecies, but also marking Judas with a stain of guilt. Gnosticism taught that the material world was inherently evil, and salvation came through secret knowledge or gnosis. In the Gospel of Judas, this secret knowledge is imparted to Judas alone, elevating him above the other disciples. Church fathers like Irenaeus of Lyon condemned it for distorting the truth about Jesus and his mission. But this interpretation faces significant challenges when compared to the biblical account. God, in his sovereignty, used even this treachery to accomplish his plan of salvation. Yet this doesn't absolve Judas of responsibility for his choices. The mystery of divine sovereignty and human responsibility is a thread that runs throughout Scripture. The Bible, not newly discovered ancient texts, remains the trustworthy revelation of God's truth. It provides a consistent, coherent message about God's character. Judas walked with Jesus for 3 years, witnessed miracles, and heard his teachings firsthand. Yet in the end, he chose betrayal over loyalty, temporary gain over eternal reward. The Bible doesn't shy away from difficult truths or complex characters like Judas. It's about following Jesus wholeheartedly, trusting in his finished work on the cross, and allowing his truth to transform our lives daily. Instead, it presents an honest, multifaceted view of human nature and divine grace, his plan for humanity, and the person and work of Jesus Christ. In Scripture, Judas is called the son of perdition who opened his heart to Satan. His remorse after the betrayal lead not to redemption or heroism, but to despair and ultimately suicide. It challenges us to reject deception, no matter how ancient or mysterious it may appear, and to remain faithful to Christ regardless of the cost. Unlike the 4 canonical Gospels, the Gospel of Judas lacked apostolic authority and conflicted with the eyewitness testimony preserved in the New Testament. This text suggests that Judas acted with Jesus' secret approval, turning the traditional narrative of betrayal on its head. Books like the Gospel of Judas, while historically interesting, can easily confuse or mislead those seeking spiritual truth. If you enjoyed this biblical investigation, please subscribe and comment below where you're watching from. May God ground your faith in his unchanging word and guard you against every false teaching. Remember, the truth of Scripture is far more fascinating and life-changing than any secret gospel could ever be. The Apostle Paul warned early believers about those who would come teaching another Jesus or another gospel. This caution remains relevant today. Scripture affirms that God's creation is fundamentally good, despite being marred by sin. Moreover, the bodily resurrection of Jesus is central to Christian faith, not something to be escaped from as the Gnostic text suggests. But is it truth or deception? Today we'll uncover what the Gospel of Judas really teaches and why the early church rejected it. If you love exploring hidden stories of Scripture, subscribe now and comment where you're watching from. Let's reveal this mystery together. The Gospel of Judas, discovered in the 1970s in Egypt, was hidden in a codex, written in Coptic. To understand the significance of this discovery, we need to revisit who Judas was in biblical accounts. The 4 Gospels in the New Testament agree on a crucial point. Judas betrayed Jesus knowingly and willingly. Jesus himself referred to Judas as a devil and foretold, "It would be better for that man if he had not been born." These words underscore the gravity and intentionality of Judas' betrayal in the biblical narrative. But the Gospel of Judas presents a radically different picture. In this account, Judas is portrayed not as a villain, but as Jesus' closest and most trusted disciple. The text claims that Jesus asked Judas to betray him as part of a divine plan to free his spirit from his physical body. This reinterpretation transforms the act of betrayal into an act of ultimate obedience and loyalty. This alternative narrative reflects Gnostic ideas that were circulating in the early centuries of Christianity. However, these Gnostic teachings stand in stark contrast to Orthodox Christian doctrine. It's no surprise, then, that early Christians quickly dismissed the Gospel of Judas as heresy. Some modern scholars have argued that this text redeems Judas' reputation, casting him as a misunderstood hero rather than history's greatest traitor. The Bible is unequivocal. While Jesus laid down his life willingly as a sacrifice for sin, Judas' betrayal was an act of evil. It's crucial to understand that truth in Christianity never comes through secret Gnostic revelations. As believers, we are called to test every teaching against the standard of Scripture. The story of Judas serves as a sobering warning that outward closeness to Jesus means nothing without true faith and obedience. The Gospel of Judas, while an intriguing historical artifact, ultimately reminds us of the importance of holding fast to the Bible alone. In a world full of competing ideologies and spiritual claims, the clarity and authority of Scripture become even more precious. As we conclude our exploration of the Gospel of Judas, let's remember that true discipleship isn't about secret knowledge or rewriting biblical narratives. Thank you for watching and exploring the Gospel of Judas with us.